I'll never forget the day I got a call from Bill Wooditch. Now, if you've heard me tell this story before, I will try to tell it better this time. I didn't know Bill Wooditch was a big deal when he called. He was. He owns a big company in Orange County, and he sensed I didn't know who he was. And he said, "Henry, you don't know who I am, but there's something I want, and I know the 4 magic words in the English language." And I said, "Wow, what are the 4 magic words in the English language?" And he said, "I know a guy." Now, people like Lisa and Susan from Chicago, they say, "I got a guy." But I said, "Well, what is it that you want? This sounds like a lot of pressure, Bill." And he says, "I want to be a best-selling author, and I want to be an in-demand professional speaker." And I said, "Oh, you want to climb a mountain. That's a mountain. I don't know, I don't know a lot of people willing to climb that mountain." Bill convinced me to come talk about it. He convinced me by paying me $1,000 to drive up to Orange County and talk to him about it. And Bill was 58. He was at a crossroads in his life. And he said, I didn't get what I wanted in life. Now, what he did have was he was a multimillionaire who was running a large insurance company for construction projects, the ones with all the big cranes out there. He's the insurance company for that. And he said, "First off, you've got to know I never met her." And I said, "I beg your pardon?" And he goes, "I never met her. I looked for her for decades. I never found her." He meant his wife. He was looking for a special person, never found her. So he said, "So I poured all the energy into this company." And I interviewed some of his people, and they said, "Bill is the most inspirational boss I've ever had. He took us when we didn't know anything and taught us how to make six figures, 100,000 a year." And here's the kicker on Bill. If we didn't have the right clothes to wear when we started, he bought us the right clothes. Bill said, "Yeah, it has been great. I love millennials. I love working with them. I love inspiring people. But I didn't get what I wanted." I said, "Well, what is it?" And he goes, "I want to be on stage inspiring 100,000 people." I said, "Oh my gosh, Bill, you want to climb Mount Everest. I mean, that is Mount Everest that you want to climb." But there was something about his conviction that I said, "Okay, if you want to make that climb, I'm with you. Let's go." Let me tell you, it wasn't easy. I got Bill booked at Qualcomm. It's a Fortune 500 company in San Diego. Had 100 C-level executives in the audience. And one came to me afterwards and said, "Henry, that Bill is dynamic. That Bill, he's powerful. That Bill, I have no idea what he's talking about." So, okay, message. We needed to fine-tune the message a little. So I was working with him on the book, and I said, "Bill, I'd like to go, to dinner with you. I'll come up to Laguna Beach and we'll have dinner." And I go up there and I said, "Bill, I know what your book's about. You do not know what your book's about." He said, "What's my book about?" And I said, "It's about overcoming fear. How you taught those people how to make $100,000 was to overcome the fear of talking to people and relating to them and learning about their problems and figuring out how to solve their problems. You have a motto, always forward." I said, "That's your book." Still, we had message work to do. We got him booked on local interviews on radio stations and local TV stations, and he would travel the country and we would get him booked on other places. We kept refining the message. The book came out, became a Amazon Kindle bestseller. People liked the book, and then our big break came. We got him booked on the Steve Harvey Show. Not once, 3 times. And not for 5 minutes, whole episodes devoted to him working with people on overcoming their fear and moving always forward. And no, 100,000 didn't hear him that day. 2 million heard him each time he appeared on the Steve Harvey Show. It led to a McGraw-Hill book that became a bestseller. It led to a Sirius radio program. It led to him speaking to 500, 1,000 people at a time for $10,000. I called him up and I said, Bill, I'd like to take you to dinner. Now, a lot of you know that I'm Dutch. No, I wasn't taking him to Denny's. I wasn't taking him to McDonald's. I took him to the same steak house. And I said, in 2 years, you've done all this in 2 years, Bill. And I just wanted to say, you proved to me that you were willing to climb the mountain. And he got choked up. And he said, those were the words I wanted to hear most of all. Now, Bill gave me permission to tell that story with 2 items I have to mention. One, the first time I said, let's go to dinner, he paid. He picked up the check on the first dinner. So he said, I want him to know that. You took me to dinner at a nice steakhouse and I paid. I said, okay. I said, what's the second thing? He says, it's now $15,000 a speech. Bill recently sent me a photo. He texted me a photo. And it was him and a woman. And the caption read, I found her. Yay. Okay, how did Bill do authority marketing? Well, the steps in the audit I'm going to give you here. So I'll give you the audit. And like I said, I repeat stories sometimes. My father, when he was getting on in years before he passed, and he had always told me stories. A Dutch dairy farmer told me stories. And he said, Henry, if I repeat the stories, it's not because I have forgotten, I have told them to you. It's because I want you to remember. So if you've heard some of these stories, I want you to remember. I'm telling them for a reason. The before, what's the before picture for me? Dry pipeline. 2 problems in business, the good problem and the bad problem. The good problem is too many clients, not enough time to do all the work. Have to get people to help. The good problem. The bad problem, not enough clients, dry pipeline. What are we going to do? So before I started doing this, dry pipeline. So how did I get the full pipeline full of qualified, right fit prospects? Audit question number 1. And as I ask the question, raise your hand if you're doing it. That's all. Are you doing a TV show right now? Yay, Joyce is doing a TV show. Okay, how many are doing a podcast? Okay, turn the podcast into a TV show tomorrow. You are already doing it on video, on Zoom, and you're putting it on YouTube. It's a TV show. It sounds cooler to say you're doing a TV show. I turned my podcast into the Agency Rainmaker TV show January of this year, and we booked up 6 months of guests immediately. Because when I asked people, would you like to be on my TV show? They did not pause for dignity. They said, yes, yes, I want to be on your TV show. Nobody asked me what the Nielsen rating was of my TV show. Well, what's the average quarter-hour listener on that? Yeah, they don't ask these questions. They just know that being on something like that is a gift that keeps giving. So you can be on the TV show. Julie Keys, one of our authors here, Poised for Exit, started her Poised for Exit podcast, and she's built the relationships. Again, let me tell you why. The guests that you bring on as a relationship, and the guests are going to spread the news about their appearance on your show to people you don't know yet. So it builds your platform. So that's one of the reasons to do it. Audit question number 2. How many are every month guesting on a podcast, somebody else's podcast? Very good. So we need to do more of this. My aim for you is 2 to 4 podcasts a month. 2 to 4 podcast appearances a month. I've started with a service called Podmatch. I pay them $23 a month, and they give me recommended podcasts to go on. Should I be more strategic? Probably. But better to have the good problem one day of choosing between which podcast you'll go on. Right now, just get on podcasts, get experience. Audit question number 3. How many people are doing small-scale seminars on a monthly basis, either in person or on Zoom? Good for you. Good job. This predictive ROI, we'll talk about them more. I'm big fans of their work. I recommend to all of you, look them up, get on their list, join their free Q&As, at the very least to watch how they run them. You know, everything in my career has been R&D, rob and duplicate. So rob and duplicate these great ideas from other people. Audit question number 4 is, how many are publishing an article on a monthly basis? Okay, good. Now, here's the nuance of it. Are you on rented land or land you own? So let me put on my Forbes hat. Literally, I bought this so I would have a Forbes hat to put on. It came in handy when I was at Pebble Beach this month covering because they got my name badge wrong. So I put my Forbes hat on and I didn't have to tell anybody, hi, I'm with Forbes. It was like, it's right here. My Forbes hat, and I do 5 to 10 columns a month for Forbes. The good news is I get to do 5 to 10 columns a month for Forbes. The bad news is I get to do 5 to 10 columns a month for Forbes. It is the drum beat. You know, how's the column coming? We don't have your column. Where's your column? So I seem like very generous in doing columns on people. I am beating the bushes for people that come with 300 to 400 words. I see Christine, I got an amen from Christine. Christine, I was speaking once in Savannah, Georgia, and it was about a point like this, and somebody yelled, preach! I was kind of like, okay, that's the down south encouragement thing. Okay, so I'll preach on this. The Forbes column could be taken away from me tomorrow. And all the columns I have written and are up on Forbes.com could be taken away tomorrow. That's why on my Marketing with a Book website, I also do articles on a weekly basis because you can't take that away from me. So your LinkedIn newsletter, great thing, rented land. Think that you also have to be on land you own. Audit question number 5, how many people, I talked about LinkedIn newsletter, how many people doing a LinkedIn newsletter right now? Oh, Diane, good. Dr. Carey, Jamie, okay, good. Oh, Darren, good. So LinkedIn, world's greatest B2B database. And if it's not free for you, it's next to free if you just go up to the next level. So we really need to take advantage on LinkedIn. A lot of people are on LinkedIn and they have no idea why. Or the worst, I hope, if you believe in Dante's Inferno and the 7 rings of hell, I hope they go to the first ring there. These are the people who, oh, will you link in with me? Yes. We should have a call right now. I would like to be your life coach. You know, it's like, well, first I'd like you to buy me dinner first, maybe take me to a movie before you want to be my life coach. We're kind of like a little too soon, a little too fast there. The better way is to build relationships. Read their profile and ask them a question about their profile. Show interest, offer something where you try to help them first rather than sending them the message. Oh, and the robots. I wrote about the robots this week. And it's not that I'm afraid of, like, you know, Hal from 2001. I'm afraid I can't do that, Henry. You know, I'm not really afraid of the robots, but I don't like the robots, the chat bots going out on LinkedIn, and you can see right through it, too. There's these vague statements. They're like the people who write fortune cookies and, no offense if you believe, astrology, some of these things were like, not the serious ones, but the ones who are just kind of this generic thing that, well, that could be anybody. Yeah, I don't like those chatbots. Audit question number 6. Do you have 25 watering holes you communicate with on a regular basis? Show of hands? Didn't think so. Oh, no, great. This is from the book The Widest Net by Pamela Slim. She wrote Escape from Cubicle Nation. Her most recent book, The Widest Net, is the best book on business development I've read in 5 years. I've written a Forbes column on it. You can get the summary. But the idea is you find out who your target-rich audience is. And let's say for me, it's ad, digital, PR agencies. Where do the owners of those businesses go to get smarter? Where do they go to meetings and associations? And what do they do to get smarter? And who runs those meetings? Locally and nationally. So I learned that and put that list together, and it also said locally. So I reached out and I thought, well, San Diego Direct Marketing Group, that's where agencies go in San Diego. Who's running it? Well, it happened to be somebody who I've known for years, and she's bought several of my books and said nice things about me. And I contacted her and just said, oh, tell me about the group. And into it, she said, would you be a speaker? You pause 3 seconds for dignity. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for asking. Yes. So I'll come in February. So I attend the January meeting to get the lay of the land. And the presenter starts with this way. Okay, it's noon now. We're supposed to be out of here by 1. There's no way I'm going to be done by 1. We're going to be going over. There's just too much I have to say to cram it all into 1 hour. So if you have a meeting to go to, I'm sorry. Oh, I can beat this next month. You know, I can top this guy. Okay, but that was that local group, but also national. That's how I found Predictive ROI, the Agency Management Institute, the other groups that gather these people. And what do? You go out and you try to help them first. You don't talk to them about, gee, can you help me? And it's like, what can I do to help you? What do you, more members? You're looking for that? Can I write about you? Can I do something? The more you give, the more you get. Audit question number 7. Do you volunteer for target-rich associations and groups? Do you volunteer to help? Yes, Manal raises her hand because I'm going to talk about her. I was so honored to have Manal join us. And she made a post about coming here that was so great because she was excited to be with other speakers and authors. She gets paid almost every weekend. You're the world's busiest woman, I think, you know, with your gigs and everything you're doing and helping people. But she also gets involved in these groups and these associations and helps to do things. And Lisa Apolinsky, same thing. Institute of Management Consultants gets on the board to help plan the program. What is it for you? Who is the group that you need to get involved with? People do business, we know, with people they know, like, and trust. How do they know, like, and trust you? They see you handle something for the group, and they say, Nona really handled the refreshments well for that meeting. I bet she is a great speaking bureau coordinator. Now, how does that follow logically? Here's how. And we all have different faiths. You know I drop scripture through here, but the scripture I'm dropping now is the person who's faithful in least is faithful in most, in what is much. So that's how we judge each other. We say, oh, Rick did that, and he did that. Okay, I bet he handles people's money well. Because we're watching how you handle different things in your life. They're making judgments about us. And just take advantage of that. Audit number 8. Do you put on 4-fee workshops? Raise your hand, Darren and Manal. Others? Yes. Okay. So, Eleni, thank you. And we should hear about it. Here's what you've got to offer to get people to pay you money to come to your event. And I think of this not as part of your revenue stream. Yeah, it helps. I do 50-50 fundraising events for people and all that. But I see it's building my platform and getting more of the author clients that I want to get. But people want to know you have knowledge that you can share about their peers and how they spend money and what they don't spend money on and what to charge. And it comes back to money a lot. So this is the secret ingredient. If you can share with people on a general basis how they compare to their peers with what are they spending more money on, what are they spending less money on, what are they doing more of, what are they cutting back on, that's invaluable. That's your proprietary research that you share. And that's what gets people to pay money to be with you. Stage Time University has the insider secrets on the speaking business. You know, you want that. What is it in your world that you can offer? We kid Darren that he's the chancellor of Stage Time University. That's even higher than the president. So we're so honored to have you, Chancellor LaCroix. We'll hear from you soon. Okay. Again, the can you fail question. Yeah, you can fail at this. And you keep trying. And it's persistence. Do you know who the actress Margot Robbie is? Wolf of Wall Street, I, Tonya, Harley Quinn. Anybody else got a role that she's all over? An interviewer recently asked, so you came from Australia and you came to America. What would you have done if you weren't discovered? And she said, I beg your pardon, what's the question? He says, what would you have done if you weren't discovered when you came to America? She said, oh, you thought I was discovered? She goes, I banged on every door in Hollywood and, would kick them down until they would talk to me. And, yeah, a lot of people, oh, no, that Australian accent, that's like, no, and until I got my chance and got my break and did it. And then it's, Rick, can I put you on the spot? Your hard work quote. What's your hard work quote? And that stands for? Long hours, hard work. There's the secret. And that's what we got to put in. So we have to keep trying these things. It's persistence. I say none of us are going to get discovered. But I got close to discovered once. A good friend is with AFLAC. They had an AFLAC regional meeting, and they needed the keynote speaker for the AFLAC conference. Would I speak for him at AFLAC? 1, 2, 3. So, yes, I came to speak at AFLAC. AFLAC. I also got this out of the deal, my golf club player for AFLAC. I opened with a story to make a point, and it's the point you keep hearing me say that I want you to share, to communicate to people that they do noble work. I told a story about a couple in Maryland, and the man gets cancer. The woman quits her job for a year to take care of her husband in his final year, and AFLAC gave them $70,000 for non-medical expenses. So it kept a roof over their head, it kept food on their table, it kept gas in the gas tank. And when Bob passed, the AFLAC agent went to the widow, Maria, and said, Maria, I'm just so sorry. And she says, don't be sorry. You do noble work. You kept the wolf off our door. So I told the AFLAC agents, that's what you do. That's your business. You keep the wolf off people's door. And I brought the wolf, and I love this wolf because it comes with grandma already inside. Come on, I opened with a cancer story. I had to lighten the mood up there. But it was a reminder that they do noble work, and I always will keep reminding you of the noble work you do to help other people and the impact that you have, and the dirty secret why we're in this business. It's to multiply the impact that you have, and that's what we're giving to the world. So I leave you with the challenge. Audit yourself regularly. What are you doing to build authority? And you can have an authority marketing position if you keep up with these 8 things. Thank you.